NCAAs are finally here. Tell me kind of the lead up to the last couple of weeks. What have you been really working on? Is it more the mental side? Is it more the little adjustments you have to make with the deep weight class? What are you been kind of preparing?
Definitely a little bit of everything. I think that wrestling isn't just a physical sport, it's very mental as well. Leading up to a tournament like this, you don't want to be overworking yourself. So a lot of the training that you're going to be doing is mental. So that's something that I've been working on, taking my performance from Big 12s and refining what I was thinking going into the match, how I can change it to be better. And then on top of that, just obviously making those little adjustments. I had two really tough matches at Big 12s against two really good opponents, and so obviously there's a lot I can improve on. So getting back into the practice room, I was working on those adjustments, watching film, and now just we're here.
Was there a specific match throughout this year that really pushed you to the limits? Obviously you have Carr, but was there something else that really pushed you and really made you have to go through the ringer? Carr is always just really a name that is always going to be in your path and in your history, right? But were there other names as well with the deep weight class?
Yeah, also in December I wrestled up 9 pounds against the Big Ten champ at 174, Edmund Ruth, and that was a really tough match. He was a big, strong kid. But I took that as an opportunity to get better. I wasn't worried about outcome. I was worried about how can I test myself and how can I get better. So that was a tough one. And then a majority of my January and February were pretty tough. Unfortunately, I had to miss the match with Carr in the duel. But I wrestled West Virginia, Peyton Hall. Then 2 days later, I had Cornell, and then that Sunday after, I had Olenek. So there was 3 top 10 guys in a matter of 9 days. So that was definitely probably my most rigorous part of my schedule. But every single match I take away something from.
And you talk about that schedule that you just had. Those 3 pretty much matches back to back to back, right? Does that gear you up along with the Big 12 for a tournament like this? Just knowing that you got to face the toughest competitions out there possible.
Yeah, definitely. I think Coach Smith does a really good job of putting together a schedule that is going to test us. Sometimes, obviously, the adverse effect of that is dealing with injury and sickness just because you're wore down and making weight. So obviously you have to deal with that type of stuff, which we did a lot this year, more than I've ever experienced, which was really unfortunate. But storms are gonna get thrown at you, and you got to go straight into them. And so if you struggle, it's going to be good for you. And we definitely struggled this year. I know I did personally, but it's all good because we grew from it.
Before we talk about the team, let's talk about you, at the Worlds, right? And you went there and you did amazing work, right? Did that gear you up for getting better and better for tournaments like this and making it almost not easier, but in a different event? Is it almost a different event in a way compared to something like this?
Yeah, you have a lot of adversity when you go over to a tournament like that. Traveling that far and dealing with a time change like that is definitely probably one of the hardest things. I remember I was up until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, barely able to sleep, and I was getting maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. And then on top of that, I'm wrestling in the World Championships. But it does a great job preparing you for the college season. And the way that it lined up, obviously, I didn't have much rest rolling into NCAA season. But it did make it pretty easy to get my weight down because I was a pretty big boy in the summer. And I had to take a solid month and a couple weeks to get down to 74 kilos. And then, once you shred that summer fat, it kind of stays off rolling right into season. So for that reason, it was really easy to get my weight down for college season. But it definitely prepared me, having 4 matches in one day against tough opponents, and then obviously sitting all day in the finals, weighing in the morning, and then sitting until the championship match simulates Saturday here at Nationals. So it was good.
One more question for you. Talk to us about the team aspect. Like you said, the sickness and all that, but just having to represent Mizzou here in Kansas City in front of, potentially a lot of Mizzou fans out there too.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of struggle this year, but many people look at that as, Mizzou is not doing as good, they're not performing as good. Well, a lot of the time that's really good for us. We've won 13 straight conference titles, and it sucks to not win a conference title, but at the same time, I think more growth will come out of that struggle than being too upset that we didn't win another conference title. So I think going into nationals, we know what we're going to deal with, and we've been through the ringer. We got a lot of guys who been through wrestling really tough guys first round and dealing with, even if they were going to start this year or not, guys dealing with injuries. And I think those struggles pale in comparison to wrestling in a national tournament. This is the easy part. We just got to go out there and execute and enjoy the moment.